In this video, I'm going to show you how you can put together your case study on your Adobe Portfolio website. Now, the first thing you should do is gather together the content for your case study, and there's two reasons for that. One, it's easier to take that content and just pop it up there much quicker than trying to craft it and write it as you go on the website live. The other reason is if you gather it together into a folder on your computer, you can archive that, and that way if you ever change hosting platforms for your portfolio, you can just go and get that content again, because sadly the online portfolio websites such as Adobe Portfolio, and some people use Wix or Squarespace, they're not interoperable. You can't just click a button and say transfer all of my content onto this new website. So it is a very good idea to actually have a computer folder where you have that content. Here's an example of some very rudimentary content that I've gathered together so that I can demonstrate this to you. I have a folder that has my case study text and some icons. It's got some images from the final project and from the process. And if we have a look here, I've got a Word document that has all of my text, and that's all ready to go to add to the portfolio website. So this content should include project text describing the entire project, headings and relevant meaningful subheadings. You should have suitable process images from the user research, from the usability testing, and from the ideation and iteration of your designs. You should have the final images and a link to your project, and this is what you would save to that work archive on your computer. Let's start adding the case study to my Adobe Portfolio website. I'm on the home page right now. I want to go to Pages, and here is the case study that I created. If you need to create additional case studies, you just need to click this plus symbol and create a new page, and you can create additional case studies. Let's click on this and go through to the running app case study. Let's start building the case study. Right now we have a page header with the name of my case study. So first I would like to add an image that draws the reader in. So I'm just going to click Image, and I will choose an image of the final website, or I could choose one in situ. So I might actually choose the in situ one. Now these are stock images, by the way, so it's not directly related to the topic. Now, if I were to want a description next to it, I could click on the plus and choose another image, photo grid, text, or whatever. Let's have a look. So you see how I can put text beside my images just by clicking on that plus beside it. Now I'm going to undo that. I don't want that. I want this as my big header image. Oh, it's done a little bit too much. Let's pop that back in again. Here we go. But if I want to add text below it, I would just click that plus button below it. So I'm just going to choose text here. And now I can type some more text in. Now I want to make sure I've got my styles right for my text. I'm going to press the plus, but what I want to do is make sure, whoopsie, okay, I'm just going to add text. I'm just going to put heading and paragraph here, because what I want to do is I want to actually change the styles. So if I go to edit text styles, you see how I selected the text, clicked on paragraph and went down to edit text styles. That should allow me to do that. So we start with the headers. What I want to do is the subheadings. So currently it's Acumen Pro. I want it to be a much darker color here. I want it to be, let's make them 32 pixels bold. Okay, I'm quite happy with that, and I want it to be left aligned. Center alignment does annoy me. And then I will go through to my paragraphs. You see how it's that very light grey that I am absolutely convinced doesn't meet WCAG accessibility requirements. I'm going to make it a little bit, not quite as black. I'll make it just a very, very dark grey. Again, I'm going to left align that. Currently it's Acumen Pro at 20. I might make that 22 just to make it a little bit bigger, and it is regular, so that is fine. Anything else here? Let's see what the captions are. I'm going to make those darker as well. I'm happy for those to be 16 and centered though. The text links, I can make those in whatever colors I think is appropriate. I might make that a little bit darker here. And you can do a different rollover color should you want. There we go. Images. Yeah, we'll leave that. Okay, I'm going to just have a look at the photo grid. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to leave the rest of it. I'm okay with the rest of it. This will just make it easier for me to style my text without having to go in and change everything as I'm going along. If you want a particular brand look and feel, what I recommend is you go to the panel to the left, you go and find Media Content Styles, open that, and in here you can actually edit all of your text styles. So the headers, currently we've got 30, I might actually increase that to about 36. The font, Acumen Pro, and we've got the color selected down here. And as we go, we can see we've got the different font sizes I've chosen, paragraph sizes. So I've actually increased the font sizes a bit to make my website more readable. You can even add different color text links depending on what the global style is that's been applied. This means that you can personalize it. Now, once you've made those changes, you really do need to add a new text box. It doesn't work nicely when it just updates the existing ones for some reason. So I've gone in and shown you that before adding some text. Now, there's one thing to note when you are copying and pasting text in, and I'll just show you that right now. I'm copying and pasting from Microsoft Word, and if you've used Word before, you know that if you copy and paste, it will keep the original format. So if I go to text and then just hit paste, you see how it does not use any of the style that I had set up over in the left pane. So instead, what I need to do is I'll delete this so that I can go from scratch. Okay, so now I'll do text, and I will paste it without any styling. So I can, you see how you've got paste Control V, I'm on a PC, or paste as plain text Control Shift and V. That's what I want. I want to paste it as plain text, and now it has my actual paragraph styling. Now, the problem is doing it that way means that I also lose my paragraph breaks or my section breaks. So if I were to, for instance, style this first one, style this first one as a subheader, it does it to everything, and that's not what I want. So instead, I need to start adding line breaks. It's a bit of a pain, but it will work, so that's good. Okay, and now I'll change these to subheaders. Might actually change the font size of this one to be a bit bigger. Oops, that's the opposite of bigger. There we go. Probably need to change the line height as well to about 40. So keep playing with these things. That looks much better, except it's changed my fonts, it looks like, but that's okay. So rather than paragraph, we want the subheader there. There we go. And we want this one to be a subheader as well. Play around with your line heights and your fonts, but I'm just going to use this one for now. Now I want to add an image. So what else have we got? I'll have a look to my text. Okay, so we've got the design process and user research. I've made a little note to myself of where I have an image, and so I know how far to add that text. So I am just going to Control-Shift-V to paste it without style. I am going to change that to, whoops, it's done that again. Oh, this is going to be time consuming. That's all right. So what was the size of this one I chose before? 36 and 40 line height. I'll do the same here. There we go. Okay. So just change the style a bit. That's right. I'll go in and fix all those things later. I want to add an image now. So I choose image and I go find my icons that I want to add. That's a bit big, so that's okay. We can choose the little menu to the top of image, width, alignment and margins, and I can make that as small as I need it. If its distance from the text isn't quite right, you can actually go in there and you see how you got width, alignment and everything. You've got that for all of your widgets on the page. So if I go to text up here with alignment margins, I can actually reduce the spacing below, and that means that these icons visually belong to the text above it. Now I'm going to race through putting the rest of my case study up because I imagine you don't want to see me doing it in real time. So I'll speed up the next part of the video, and then at the end I'll show you how to publish the site. So now I've got my case study put together, and yours of course will be a lot more considered than mine. It's just a demo. We want to publish the website. So all you need to do is go to the bottom left down here and click Publish Site. And there we go. Now we can click through. You can click View Your Site, or I've just right-clicked it to have a look. So this is the home page. I've only got one case study on there. Let's go. And we've got the case study here. A little up arrow to go back up to the top again. Fantastic. Okay, so there's a few things I want to just refine. I think it's a good idea to have a bit of text here if I can. So now I've got my case study put together, and yours of course will be a lot more considered than mine. It's just a demo. We want to publish the website. So all you need to do is go to the bottom left down here and click Publish Site. And there we go. Now we can click through. You can click View Your Site, or I've just right-clicked it to have a look. So this is the home page. I've only got one case study on there. Let's go. And we've got the case study here. A little up arrow to go back up to the top again. Fantastic. Okay, so there's a few things I want to just refine. I think it's a good idea to have a bit of text here if I can. So let's go in and edit that bit. I'll close out of this page because then I can go back here and go back to the editor. So I'm on the home page right now. Of course, you can get there by going to Pages and clicking on the home there. Now what I need to edit here is this little page view. So you see how we've got the page here. If I open that up, I can edit my page info. So it's called the Running App Case Study. I can change the name here. This was a project I did in my interaction design unit at Swinburne University of Technology. It showcases my skills in RP. Okay, so that might be all I need to do there. Now you see that nothing's happened. It hasn't changed there at all, and that is because you actually need to change these settings. You see how down here we've got this collection page covers. If I open that up, you see how we've got text container, page title, page date. We don't have the page description showing. So we can open that and that will then show the description. Now I'm not fond of the font or anything like that, but I'm going to leave that at the moment. You can change the layout and those sort of details there, but I think that will be sufficient for now. Play around with these settings and see how you can customize it to suit your own work. Once you make changes like that, you can click on Update Live Site. You can also click the preview to have a look at what it would look like. So now if I open that up, we're on the home page and we can see we've got that additional detail down there, which is very useful. So a couple of very important points. If I go back to Adobe Portfolio, you need to make sure it is live to be able to be assessed for it. So do make sure you actually publish your site and make it live. Do make sure that anytime you make a change, click on Update Live Site, otherwise it does not go public. Now, if you have done something catastrophically wrong and you decide, no, I've got to fix everything, I don't want people seeing it, you can click on Settings. And there is actually an option down here to unpublish your site. So if things have gone terribly wrong, you can unpublish the site. You can also take it offline, but I'm just going to click Unpublish Site. And now if I were to go to that link again, whoops, I don't have it remembered, whoops, I think it was Alison DeCroof, myportfolio.com, and it just says that the website is down, so that's fine. There are also a lot of other settings here. If you have your own domain name, you can link that. Because you've got a student subscription, you can do that. If you were just using a free subscription, you could not. It will just give you a subdomain by default. You can change your homepage and what that's titled. You can enter Google Analytics to track visitors. You can check your search engine optimization. There's a whole lot of things that you can do down here to improve it. I won't go into detail in all of them because the most important thing is, of course, that you have your portfolio site published. So just to recap some of the things that we've covered and some of the key tips you should try and remember. Use real text. Don't just take screenshots of PDFs you've created. That makes it very hard for readability, usability and accessibility. So use real text. Proofread that text. You can use Microsoft Word. You can use online tools like Grammarly.com. I don't mind, just make sure it's proofread. There's nothing worse than having someone in their portfolio say they have an eye for detail and it's absolutely full of grammatical and spelling errors. Make sure you use real content, like I showed you, putting the text in, adding an image, putting text in, adding an image. Don't just embed a PDF. Make sure you create a full web page per project if you're putting this on a UX portfolio. Make sure you optimize your graphics for the web and that they're lovely and clear and reflect your work well. Make sure if you upload any graphics that do have text, such as a user journey map or an empathy map or a persona, make sure the text is readable on the screen, please. Make sure all of your graphics are neat and professional. Even if they're hand-drawn thumbnail sketches, scan them in, clean them up, make sure they look good. And always caption your graphics unless it's something that is just an icon to draw attention to the text. But if you're putting up an empathy map, for instance, make sure you actually caption that so we know what the empathy map was for. Now, make sure you keep your website self-contained. What do I mean by that? Well, put your CV and explanation of what you've done on an about page and make sure all the information is there. Don't set your about link to your Google Drive and a CV. You don't want to be sending people away from your site unless it's absolutely necessary. The exceptions are, of course, if you have a PDF download of your work, and please bear in mind that is in addition to your case study, not instead of your case study. You can have an abridged version of your case study, and then at the end of it, you can have the full case study PDF that they can download if you want to share that, or if you have a link to a prototype that happens to be sitting on Axia Share or sitting on Figma, that's perfectly fine. But do limit those links to other sources. You are not wanting to send people away from your website. So in this video, I showed you how to set up your case study, how to add images, how to add text, how to style text, how to test and view it in the browser and publish the site, and also how to unpublish it if anything's gone wrong and you want to update the site again before publishing it. Good luck.